I like skeptics, people who question things like Mr. Icke. But I don't always agree with everything. Like right now with Mr. Icke and what he says about karma. Westerners see everything as punishment. Is that still the case because of Christianity? Westerners often see karma as something like that, or as penance, or like Mr. Icke as a trap. But actually that's not the case. And the ironic thing is, karma basically says the same thing as Icke. Of course, it always depends on the interpretation. If you are a jerk and mean to others, there are always consequences. Or if you have attachments to life, you are attached to money and status quo, or you are afraid, then that brings you to karma. Karma and yoga should teach you how to overcome this, and thereby escape karma in the here and now. But what am I actually criticizing about Icke's statement? Even though it just describes karma free in the end right now, well, but in other words, I only criticize that he doesn't see that he describes it exactly as it is meant and pretend that he knows better. David Icke says, karma is a trap, that is such a mess system that forces you to come back. And you know what? For modern words, nowadays, he describes this pretty well, just using another language. Unfortunately, something is missing in his conclusion. He exits one level too early, so let's take a closer look. He says, you are not judged, but you judge yourself. Yeah, if you want to call it like that, it's totally correct. And yet, this is exactly where the misunderstanding begins. Because self-reflection is not judgment, and recognition is not a punishment. Karma doesn't say you were bad. That is something humans often interpret into it. Karma says, look at what you choose and have chosen, and look at where that choice leads. No judgment, no guilt, just a mirror. David Icke asks, if everything is pre-coded, where's karma then? Really good question. The answer is maybe uncomfortable. Karma is not in the script. Karma is in the identification with the script. Yes, the body is coded if you want to call it like that. Yes, personality is prepared. Yes, reactions are limited. But no one forces you to believe you are the character. Soham, it's called in Sanskrit. I am, and you can be whatever you like to be. And right here is where imprisonment and realization diverge. Icke says, why would anyone return once they have understood? They shouldn't. And here's the thing, they don't have to. The goal is to transcend karma. In Sanskrit, it's called Shivam, the individual soul, Mukta, be free right here, right now, the liberated soul. The crucial point, which he himself delivers but does not follow through, is this: no one is forced. The return does not happen through violence or manipulation, but through consent, through a kind of free will, or rather, through agreement with an idea. A kind of idea like, I still have something to balance, I'm not finished yet, I still owe something, I want to keep playing, I promise someone to come back, stuff like that. That is not person, that is a kind of contract to remain in the game. And this is where karma comes in, not as a trap, but as a big warning sign, a rulebook or a mirror. Karma shows you, see, every time you identify with something or someone, you bend yourself back into the game, into the scripts. Most people do not live that karma. They constantly reactivate it, pressing the game's reset button, if you want to call it like that, again and again. Not because they must, but because they believe they are their role, their name, their destiny. David Icke describes the wheel of samsara as a prison, but a prison with an open door is not really a prison. Human beings are simply too blind to see the exit, or too afraid to walk out, because they never understood the game, or they forgot the rules. It is a test of self-identity and letting go, and humans love attachment to everything, and they are afraid. Karma does not say you must return. Karma says if you understand yourself as this, you will return. A difference that changes everything. And yes, the solution is always shown in every life review, in every moment of clarity outside the body. But many then say, I want to do it better, or I want to do it right this time. I want to learn. And they sign the contract again and jump into the game. Not out of guilt always, but out of identification. David Icke sees the system, he sees the manipulation, if you want to call it like that. He sees the endless loop, but he calls the mirror a trap. Because he overlooks that the mirror also shows the exit. The game can be ended at any time. Especially now, in Kali Yuga, faster and easier than ever. Karma is not the wheel. Karma is the indicator of why you are still sitting on it and playing the game. And the moment you stop asking yourself, what do I need to learn? And instead maybe ask, who is it that is supposed to learn here? I'm done. That is the moment no contract applies anymore. No karma, no samsara, no return. Not because you escaped, but because you realize you are never trapped and you can leave. You can free yourself here and now. Just remember who you are and why you chose to play the game. See yourself, know thyself.